Time for another cracking game. It is an EU versus Brazil clash. We've got W7M and BDS going head-to-head. Both of these teams potential favourites for the tournament, just like the Liquid TSM game.
This is going to be a banger matchup. I can't wait for this. I love both of these teams so much. It's really great to see BDS return to the international stage once again as well. They have picked up a very exciting roster in Likipak, and he's done amazing in Stage 3. I cannot wait to see what he can do here in Sweden. And
both of these teams, similar to our previous match, are also doing phenomenally at Jönköping so far. We had undefeated from both of them. In fact, W7M's won 7-3 over Space Station. It was 7-5 for BDS. Both of these teams also beat Fury, which actually, funnily enough, means I was going to say it's the exact same round differential, but technically W7M is actually winning on round differential right now, so they are technically leading the group, but if BDS step it up, it might not remain that way.
Absolutely, and I think if there is any team in the group to do it, it is going to be BDS, right? Yeah. They took down SSG, W7 took down SSG just yesterday on Border, I believe it was, and even though people thought that SSG was going to do really well on Border, W7M came in and went, nah, this is our map, and eventually, well, they won it out. I can only imagine that in this series, it'll just be a little bit closer, hopefully. The top two of the group, of course, and it's W7 and BDS, the guys in pink.
Yeah, let's start. You're wearing pink today, is that?
Yes.
Is that why you decided to wear pink today?
Is that part of it? Oh, maybe it is.
I should have gone for purple then so I could rep BDS. Yes, so look, W7M and BDS have both made roster changes in recent history. We already casted W7M, so we touched a little bit on Julio, such an OG, formerly of the Furia coaching staff, and then before that he was an NIP pro for a very long time. But BDS have also picked up the prodigy, Likipak.
Yes, he's done absolutely incredible in Stage 3, first of all, in EUL, and he's also doing really well here at Jönköping. I just think that this is one of these players that BDS needed. He is the kind of guy that will walk in and he will turn on a gunfight and just win it.
Yeah.
There are some times where you go, I just cannot believe that he's won that gunfight, and that is that guy. That is Likipak.
Yeah, and Likipak has also had a phenomenal Stage 3 1.21 rating within EUL, which is the 10th highest Stage 3 rating at this tournament. He also has one of the best ratings in the world. He's in the top 20 for all-time rating as well. So a really nutty player. People are calling him Shaiko Jr. or Shaiko 2.0. And it's funny because Shaiko has also still been absolutely killing it as well. He's got a mad rating. He's just been honestly shocking in general. Like Shaiko all-time rating.
Shocking in a good way?
Shocking in a good way.
Shocking in a good way.
Maybe it's not shocking anymore for Shaiko to be doing well. I've got his all-time rating to be 1.21, which is just absolutely unbelievable. He is a nutty player, third highest all-time rating of any player at the tournament. Now let's talk about playoffs. Space Station was meant to be in conversation for playoffs, at least people seem to think so, but realistically it's just looking like W7M and BDS, the pink guys, who will be making the playoff spots in Group C. Yeah,
they're looking pretty good to take it. The percentages are going pretty far down now for SSG. I believe it was you have to win at least one of your matches on the first day to stay in contention for that playoffs, and Fury, unfortunately, being at the bottom end of that, didn't do too well. Same thing with SSG. And yeah, it really is. Oh, look at that. They've even got pink jerseys today. Yeah. That is so cool.
I actually love the pink jerseys.
I love that. That is, we're matching. Look, that is so cool.
Do I just leave? Like, if I'm not matching, do I just leave?
Guys, this is great.
BDS, though, they go on the black jerseys. They're going to be cool guys. They're not going for anything too crazy. Hey, Brede, he really made a name for himself when he joined BDS back in 2020. The insane support player, the clutch master, and he hasn't slowed down much, to be honest. BDS has had their fair share of slumps. Most notable, I reckon, was Six Invitational this year, which was here in Stockholm. They probably have some bad memories of coming to Sweden. They bailed out really early. One of the most disappointing teams at the entire tournament. There was the whole weird thing with, Rafal not being able to play and then Bayer subbing in. But fortunately for them now, they have the 5 roster that they've always wanted, and Likipak is ready to show what he can do at a major.
Yeah, and I think for this roster, it's sort of the injection that they needed, right? But back when they had Rafal on the roster, he was that kind of odd flank watchy kind of player, I suppose, that one that was in that weird flex position. And I think what they needed was a more solid roster of a front line and a back line. And I think that's what they've got now in Leaky Fac being on the roster, being supported by Brito, who is the support king of support kings, in my opinion. And I just think as a result, the team dynamic works out really well, where you have your enablers and then you have your front line. And I think that's really good for the way that this team plays out.
So we've conducted the map video. You can see it on your screens. BDS had the final choice between Cafe and Skyscraper and went to Skyscraper, which is very exciting for us. We've already seen W7M play Skyscraper against Direwolves. Am I right? No, I'm getting confused. That was FaZe. Brazilian teams, man. The really good Brazilian teams all blur into one because they're just so damn good. But yeah, Skyscraper for W7M picking the defense first, if I did see that correctly, which is a very exciting prospect. I know you're a big fan of Sky.
I am. I love Skyscraper. Skyscraper is one of those trialed and untested maps, in my view, still, even though it's been here for a pretty long time now. It's still the newest map. People are still figuring out what to do. When we watched FaZe play, that was us casting that the other day. That was against Direwolves, that's right, it was a FaZe Direwolves game. They employed some really cool stuff with the verticality of the map, and I love seeing it in these major settings because it is the strategies that people bring along, especially the way they shape their attacks, are so unique, and they always bring along something new and innovative.
And historically, this has been a good map for BDS. They played it against Damwon Kia twice at the Japan Invitational, won it both times. They also played it in EUL Stage 3. It was their second last game of the stage, and they only just beat G2 8-7. So while that is 3 wins, I feel like the fact that 2 of those wins were against Damwon, who are not in crash hot form right now, and 1 of those wins was only in overtime against G2, that does show perhaps some cracks in the armor, whereas W7M, they play this far less. They did play it in BR6. It was against Furia, and they did win, so perhaps Julio playing against his former team played perhaps a part into that. But in a large way, this is not the most common map for either of these teams. It's a bit fresh.
Oh, this is a really exciting one as well. W7M, they are on an 11-match win streak before coming to Sweden. Now what their win streak is, I got no idea. But they are on an incredible streak of wins at the moment. Let's see if they can continue it against BDS.
BDS will be showing that they can, in fact, remain undefeated in their group. BDS are in a way similar to Liquid, the Kings without crowns. Never have they been a champion at a major, an invitational, even back in the day in the Pro League finals. They, however, have recently started to show that they can claim championships. They won the Japan Invitational. Didn't they win the Gamers 8 event as well?
I think so.
So that's 2 championships, which is great, but it's not a major.
No, no.
And that's what we're doing here in Sweden. We're looking for a major champion.
As we've been chatting a little bit about BDS potentially being in that championship conversation, the bans have flown by us. Nook, Monty, Mira, 3 being taken out. Nook is a pretty common one here at the major at the moment. A lot of teams are starting to ban her out because the way that the current meta shapes up, where you have to hold on to so much of the map, you just don't want to have to worry about someone crouch walking in through the map and being silent and backstabbing your bomb site. Warden as well to be taken out as the final one. This is a pretty interesting set of bans.
Yeah, I wonder what the play is for the Warden. Is that to play Ying or is it to play Sens? I know that sounds crazy. You're hearing Sens. What? Why would they play Sens? Well, we did actually see FaZe do some really nice back stairs executes with Sens that I was super impressed with. And the Warden, of course, is a strong counter for any flash or smoke-centric push. Get out of the way, and you're going to be much more comfortable using your Yings and your Sens and your Glaz and your smokes.
Thatcher being in for me is sort of important on this map. I feel like Skyscraper is one of those maps that you don't have a lot of options for entry points, especially close around the bomb site, unless you open up one of those walls. Now, getting the anti-hard breach off some of the critical walls, I imagine like the one inside of Karaoke, the one in Geisha, for example, they're pretty challenging to try and deal with. And so having Thatcher on the board does enable some of those better entry points once you get into that mid to late round.
We're seeing Valkyrie left in as well, just like it was on the map we just casted on Border. Often taken out of contention, but with Valkyrie in, I'm really keen to see some playmaking from the defense. See if they can make some moves, use those Valk cams for information. It's KZ who's going to be doing it. He has been absolutely insane. One of the best players that we've seen all year globally, I'm going to say. KZ really made a name for himself, not just within Brazil, but on the international stage.
So W7M choosing to bring along the key. They're going to try and keep that Geisha wall closed for as long as possible. Renshiro is going to take out an EMP, and immediately as I say that, boom, goes the dynamite, the utility off the wall, and Geisha is the first point of pressure for BDS.
Oh, but hello, Volps goes for the double jump out. Was there a Claymore there or not? Look at that, 2 still in pocket for Bride, 2 in pocket for Renshiro, and W7M are taking the fight to the French. That's 3 early kills in the first minute of the round. KZ's not gonna stop. W7M are having a laugh. It is all on Bride, and he is gonna skulk in the corner.
All 4 of those kills were outside of the building, Dev. Not a single attacker even touched the carpet of the floor in the building. Like, not a single one. That is unreal from W7M. Volps, of course, the brave one with that double jump out. BDS, they tried to go for a more direct attack into the bomb site there. They only went for that Geisha control and then a little bit off that shrine window into the back stairs. And that didn't end up working out because you've got Volps and he's nuts and he just jumps out. KZ decides to peek windows and he wins those. And that is W7M in a nutshell, isn't it?
I mean, that's really going to put BDS back in their place for one round. Just to see if Bride can pad the stats as much as possible.
This is like the worst part about playing support.
It is.
It's the worst. When you've sat in spawn the whole time on drones and all 4 of your players die and they didn't even get in the building yet, then you're just there like, well, damn.
Well, now you can say, hey, I got my kill.
I got my one. I got my one.
The old exit Fragarino. And there you go, he will only get 1. Perds sharing the love with that Valentine's Day skin. I love, we're really on the pink theme today, aren't we?
We are. Everything. Oh, he's even got the bolo charm, which is like purple, which matches the color theme. It's beautiful.
I'm disappointed he doesn't have the plasma pink attachment skin on. That is, since I got that in an alpha pack, it has been all I run.
I think he had the purple one though, didn't he? He had the purple attachment skin.
Plasma pink.
You've got to have a bit of that contrast in there, okay? You can't have pink everything. You got to have pink, purple, and purple. It's beautiful. I'm
going to say that's the reason why I'm wearing this outfit today. It's to contrast you. It's not because I accidentally spilled water all over my other shirt.
W7M are going to take us over to the exhibition office bomb site. They're choosing to bring along the castle for this strategy. I'm interested where Hertz is going to put them down. He's already got 1 placed here on this office door, and what that does is it allows one of the anchors to sit in the corner of the desk without being shut off by the window, and that directly contests the breach. It's super hard to clear that position. It's kind of akin to trying to clear like Chimney inside of Theme Park on that ground floor bomb site, for example, and I love the way they're so far using this castle to block off these window lines of sight and making positions inside the building more powerful.
For BDS, what do you do after you lose that round in that fashion? Do you just say, okay, guys, I guess just sharpen up on the early round, be careful, watch for jump outs? We do have actually 6 Claymores this round, so I really hope some of those get deployed.
Castles as well being dedicated down to the ground floor, as well as a line of sight blocking off that mudroom entry. A couple of rotations as well on the bathroom side. W7M are really spreading their utility far and wide across the map, holding on to as much as they can.
Oh, I like this. Looks like there's going to be a bit of a juggle from Julio. Is there an EMP to be found? Renshiro is going to rotate up, use the Thatcher, and I expect Julio will immediately toss down his second claw. In goes the EMP. Julio's going to throw this down, but the thing is, I don't think it's going to matter. That exothermic charge. Oh, he just catches it.
What?
Oh, my God. And that is one of the only 2 exothermics that Bride has available.
He's going to go for it again, though. Bride putting the picnic blanket on the wall. No, it's surely that one's too. Oh, okay, that's a double one.
That's all of his EMPs, though. And you don't actually need that against Thermite. Fortunately for BDS, they've got a kill. They've just flooded the site. What are we watching, Mandy?
We're watching double hard breach on Skyscraper is what we are. Liquifac in that time has gotten open the main breach and allowed his team into the bomb site. JV frantically trying to build his fortress to defend the rest of the map. Meanwhile, KZ Below is able to claw one back. 2 on 3 now for BDS.
But now the attackers are the defenders as KD starts to make his way back up the main stairs. Herds is going to try and rotate on, but it's going to be a long hike to get back to site, and BDS have pulled the wool over W7M's eyes as they hold this comfortable post plan. It's nigh impossible now for KZ. He's got 3 kills to his name, but he is likely to find a strike in the loss column here. He's actually going to get another one, so there you go, 4-0. Surely this isn't possible. Takes down a Claymore. Does he know that there's a player just to his left? BDS. Oh no! Are you kidding me? Thankfully, Alems is there, but oh my god, that got far too close.
KZ's nuts. Oh my gosh, KZ is absolutely nuts. Thank goodness they were able to close that one out. BDS, I really like what they did there. They decided to bring along the double hard breach. We didn't catch it on the cam because we were so busy watching the electric claw juggle. But while that was all going down, Leaky Fact with those Selma charges created another point of entry on the main breach. And in tandem with a jump in from the window, BDS were able to flood the site. Before those Azami barricades came up, JV ended up being flooded in his power position in bar. They were able to get the plant down. Like you said, that post-fight was a little bit scary because KZ is a freaking beast, but they're not able to close out the round. Thankfully, BDS take a win here on the board.
Wow, man, these guys are certainly bringing the heat. They are making this exciting. Already 1-1. We've already had a ridiculously one-sided round from W7M and then a ridiculously fast-paced round from BDS. And now we go to Master Bedroom, a bomb site which I feel like I don't see all that often. But when I was talking to Rise from Wolves yesterday, he was saying he actually reckons it's one of the strongest sites on this map.
I'm interested in the way that W7M are going to play this. Seems like a lot of the hold is going to be on this upstairs position. They've actually reinforced off that external wall on the bar side. Typically, that's a rotate to play aggressively on the run out for this main breach. A K Claw is even going to go on this main breach and protecting that bar. So they've got reinforcements galore protecting this bar position.
I've had a look at the stats. This bomb site was actually not played at all in EUL Stage 3.
Oh no, that's going to get tricked.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? This is just like a hard breach's nightmare right now. And despite Thatcher being in, his EMPs are being sapped away by mistakes.
They've only got one hard breach this time. And really, there's only one more Selma to do it with. There's also only one more thermite charge. So realistically, they can get a vault hole on this wall.
Ooh.
But they can't really clear that bar position because it's being protected by another 2 sets of reinforcements. The entry is going to be quite tough for BDS.
Here comes the Ying from BDS. They weren't the ones to ban out the Warden, but they may well take advantage of its absence. He's biding his time. There is a Maestro just to the corner away from him. As Shaiko's tempted to make his way in through delivery, and he's going to take KZ's head clean off.
Nice from Shaiko, and BDS is going to try and follow it up with that Candela. One goes in, Shaiko still on the outside, not making his in just yet. A Maestro on the other side, that's Julio, and he's about to be flashed full white.
Oh, Renshiro's covering herds up above, but Julio does manage to avoid the flash, and he does take down BDS, that dangerous player entering. BDS falling apart now. It is a 2v3, so it is possible, but they still don't have a lot of map control. Renshiro outside now, and he's facing presence inside on the top floor. Shaiko just around the corner in delivery, being peaked, but he needs to find Julio. He does, and now a 2v2 seems winnable for BDS.
JV deciding to play a bit more conservatively, making his way down the main stairs. He does in fact have info on the position of Shaiko, but does he know that Renshiro is around the corner? He fires his gun, giving away his position, and Shaiko now holding onto this site control with the diffuser in hand.
This game is just non-stop. These teams are back and forth from a 5v5 to a 2v2 with just under a minute left now and ticking away. Shaiko low HP, but so is Volps. Shaiko has that diffuser. Volps still control upstairs. BDS seeming to ignore it. And Shaiko makes his way all the way into the bathtub. Whether that's heard, I'm not sure. But there's information likely on the Evil Eyes. He's not going to be able to get an angle, I don't think, but he's going to try his darndest to do so. Volps is low HP. It wouldn't take much either way, as these two defenders will try to retake, but it's Shaiko to go nuts. Diffuser down and a double kill spray to get BDS the lead.
When you need him, Shaiko puts on his cape. 2-on-3 situation, clawed back into a clutch. I don't know how many Shaiko got there. Was that 4 kills, I believe, for Shaiko by the end there? That was absolutely nuts from him to be able to bring that one back. W7M, even though they had the man advantage, what they didn't have was the trades onto Shaiko. They thought they had the crossfire when Shaiko jumped in and started contesting that bathroom door, but he got not only the Maestro kill, but the kill on the player inside of reception as well, and that really opened up the bomb site, allowed Shaiko and Renshiro to reconvene inside the bomb site, get that plant down. Unfortunately, W7M, the vertical angles in that strategy didn't work out for them.
Yeah, you're right. We just saw all 4 of Shaco's kills on the replay there. To me, one of the most impactful was actually the kill onto KZ, which was the player in reception, largely because KZ has just been such a good player. He's, in fact, the only one that's matching Shaco for kills in this game so far. We've talked about how phenomenal he's been. His rating did drop off a little bit when Finker got nerfed, which I thought was a bit of a funny meme, but it's kind of...
you thought it was a funny meme, and then he took it personally and like top fragged in the first game that we casted it, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. And he goes to show he doesn't need a 150 bullet LMG to do anything. He's got the Azami and he's making full use of it.
Herd's looking for a spawn peek here. Just out the window, Renshiro the one possibly on the receiving end of it, but no, he's being a bit cautious. W7M looking for this extended roam hold on the other side of the map. The bomb site is T-Room and Karaoke, slightly more conventional. We've got KZ with the Azami, who's hoping to stay alive. He's actually got all 3 keeper barriers in his hand right now. I'm curious as to what they might use it for.
Come on, make this breach work, please, BDS.
BDS?
BDS? Bit of both. So the last time BDS attacked this, they found themselves in a 1v5 within a minute. So already they're doing better.
Oh, I hear the Yin Candelas go out. That's from the Karaoke window.
Fake rush?
He's actually not going to go in. Yeah, you might be right. They might be baiting the W7M players back, and it might be working. KZ from below is like, oh no, something's going down. He's made an impact hole from below. The smokes still go out, even baiting out a smoke canister, but nothing is happening.
Well, you know what this is? This is a roam clear. This is a pseudo roam clear. They've just got all of the roamers to move to the west side of the map. They've even got KZ to come back upstairs. So, I mean, I would sacrifice, you know, Ying's utility, all of her candelas and smokes just to roam clear. I feel like BDS probably could have taken more map control. Oh, KZ! He takes everything away from BDS and he gives nothing back. His keeper barrier as well might make him savable. Julio's tempted to go for it. The gas will support, and Julio tempted to go for it. The support is there from another player, but Alems goes in, and he goes big. Another smoke now to shut him out, but he's done his damage. As W7M are stacking this position, Leakafak is gonna go nuts. And now it's just 2 players left from W7M. JV's gone down. How do I keep up?
All right, Operation Saving Private KZ did not work for W7M at all. They dedicated their smoke canisters to it. They had 2 players go for it, one to pick up and one to cover. And KZ's like, guys, I'm still dying, help! It was all over for W7M. Now 1 on 3 for Herds. JV is also down on the ground from all of that kerfuffle. And it's,
here we go.
Moment.
Oh no!
The vertical line is starting to play, but he turns around and kills him through the vertical himself.
Oh no. Okay, I will say, KZ is good, but he's not so good that you should throw your entire team out the window to try and save him.
Oh dear, W7M, I'm going to take a timeout off the back of that as well, Deb. Oh, I can't believe what we just saw. That was hilarious through the red round.
Bruh.
Bruh? That's your words to summarize that round?
Yeah.
Oh dear, W7M. I really liked what BDS were able to do there with that combination of the Yin Candelas. Like you said, it was a bait. It actually clawed all of those W7M plays back onto the site. The problem with that was, I was worried that BDS didn't capitalize on that space fast enough. We saw KZ, he came back around, and he was able to use those keeper barriers impromptu, like a castle barricade, blocking off that entry point inside of office, blocking off another line of sight from going in from terrace, that type of thing. But thankfully, they were able to deal with him once they got down and W7M started throwing their lives at BDS.
Well, this game has been real strange, Mandy. Real strange. Especially once you consider W7M had that absolutely nuts opening round where they got 4 kills in a minute, almost flawless. And then BDS have replied with 3 rounds of their own, all of which have been equally chaotic.
Especially that last one. That last one really felt like a W7M win, especially after KZ got those 2 opening picks. He was only traded back by 1. It just didn't feel like BDS had as much utility left, especially by the time they got to the wall, right? They could have wasted a lot of time, but W7M going through that mid-round, pretty interesting. Every single one of these rounds, like you said, has been chaotic and has been crazy, and that is why I love Skyscraper. This is such a fun map to watch.
That's why I love these teams, to be honest. It's equal parts the map, equal parts these teams. W7M always bring the fire. What a year it's been for these guys. They essentially were nobodies, outside of Brazil anyway, in last year. A year ago, it was Brazil who raised the trophy in Sweden, in Gävle, for the Sweden Major, but that was FaZe Clan. And even back then, I mean, it was NIP in the runners-up position. Team Liquid struggled at that event, weren't able to make it to the playoffs, and W7M weren't even present. Now, a year later, they are one of the favorites for the tournament. They've topped the Brazilian region all year long. They've made it to the semis, last major in Berlin, and they're looking to go even further than that this time.
Just want to circle back and put the spotlight on BDS for this game so far, because keep in mind, it is 3-1. Somehow, out of all of this chaos, it is 3-1 to BDS, I believe, on their attacking half. And that is very uncharacteristic for Skyscraper, in my opinion. Maybe your match tracker disagrees with me. That is very possible. But I believe that attacking this map is quite challenging, especially, I suppose, with the bans that have come out too. I feel like you don't have your Nook on the board, which makes things a little bit tricky with the entries, because that early round is pretty hard.
So I'm going to go for Brazil, the Brasileiro Stage 3 stats, BR6. It's been played 6 times, this map, and it is 51% defensive favored. So yeah, just slightly defense favored. In Europe, the map's only been played once though, and it was actually quite defensive favored, 67%. That was in the 15 rounds that were played. I believe that was BDS's match against G2, I guess.
There you go. We see it a little bit more in APAC South, and I think it's quite particularly defender favored.
Yeah, I think as a whole, this map is... I don't know if it's the most defender-favoured map out there, but it certainly would be up there in my opinion. It's been played 3 times in North America, and it is slightly defender-favoured, 52%.
Anyway, we're getting distracted. The map is happening at the moment. They're going over to this exhibition and office bomb site. Once again, trying to keep as much of the walls closed as possible. Giulio, he seems very proficient now on these electro claws, keeping that entire bar segment closed, as well as the housing wall on the other side. The rest of W7M shaping up throughout the map, ready to contest the roam clear early.
Keep your eye on KZ though, you never know when he's going to go and find a double.
You actually don't. There is a player at the bottom of these kitchen stairs. That's Leaky making his way up, but KZ's on the cameras. No, KZ! He gets off them just in time, but isn't able to connect all the shots, and Leaky will find the first pick, or second pick actually, off this round.
Yeah, Bride went down early. Didn't quite see how that came about, but at least for BDS, they've taken down the one and only KZ. LMs has actually managed to double down now, pick up that diffuser once again, but no hard breach available for BDS might make this more difficult.
That is exactly what I was about to go and say. No hard breach anymore for BDS, so their options to get into the site have been significantly cut down, unless Renshiro has something to say about it. Taking down Herds just inside of the bomb site now. Are they going to save Private Herds, or are they going to leave him to die?
It's not worth it. It really isn't
not worth it.
Oh, Renshiro is in a spot of bother.
No.
Shaiko's nades caught by the magnets. Spelled death for his teammate. Poor guy. Shaiko low HP, but Herds has been downed, like you said, and not revived as of yet. Oh man, Shaiko's nades did not work out so well. Volps takes him down with the headshot. Now it's Alems and Leakafak. Volps, they actually are going to go and save Private Herds. The commitment from this team, and well, it may well be worth it. It's all on Leakafak now. Big magazine here with the V308 from Lion. Herds and Volps both low HP, so this is very winnable.
Tough position though from Leaky. He doesn't have the diffuser, and that's in the hands inside of Dragon. It's actually Herds to close that one out. The man on the ground himself comes back from the grave and takes down Leaky Fag for a round for W7M.
That's a hashtag worth it moment. Am I allowed to say that?
I feel like we are way too lame to be saying cool hip lines like that.
I don't know if hashtag worth it is cool. I'll just embrace.
I feel like we just can't use hashtags, you know? That feels like a bit of a...
Yeah, I heard we're all going to Hive anyway. Do they use hashtags on Hive?
W7M, there you go. In that round, much better from them in the mid to late round. BDS, that saving Private Herds operation was aided a little bit by a grenade that came through from Shaiko and took down Renshiro, but the main thing that really defined that round, in my opinion, was taking down Bride early. As soon as he went down, BDS really don't have the option anymore to go for an external attack. They can't go rotate across the map and try and open up those walls anymore because they don't have the means to do it. So they had to do what Renshiro tried to do and go through Dragon, go through Terrace, and try try and find picks from there. Unfortunately, that tussle was super messy and chaotic, as this entire game has been. It didn't work out in their favor, and W7M finally claw back another round.
That said, BDS have already found 3 rounds on their attack. Is this enough in itself? If they have a shot at this next attack, which, by the way, can't be that exhibition office site because it's locked, I'm, you know, would pretty much favor BDS to take this series if they can go up 4-2 on the attack.
I'm confident, you know, BDS, they're playing really well at the moment. I think that this game in general has been very chaotic, and BDS have certainly kept up pace with W7M. We often say LATAM is one of those really forward-pressing regions. Everyone finds it hard to keep up the pace, but I think the new and rejuvenated front line of BDS, the one added with LeakyFac, especially there on the entry, we saw him on his lonesome coming up the main stairs, taking down KZ, for example. That added front line, I think, has really been beneficial to them in this series.
And I feel like BDS, when they've played fast, they've been far more successful in this game than when they've played slow. If you think about it, the very first round they won, they kind of just rushed the breach and the window jump in on exhibition at the same time after failing to breach elsewhere. It's funny, usually I think the stereotype of play styles within Rainbow Six is that EU is like the big brain region and they play slow and methodically, and like LATAM are just gunners that ran around the whole map. But funnily enough, it's kind of been W7M who have been owning BDS in a lot of these more util-centric, like hard breach denial facets, and BDS have replied by playing that aggressive play style.
I think that's absolutely right. BDS, they're really doing a great job at matching pace with W7, or maybe it's the other way around, like you said. and I think it's just, yeah, really, this added front lane they've got is super exciting to watch, especially on a map like Skyscraper, where you really need that entry power, and that's exactly what LeakyFac has brought. We're going down to this kitchen and barbecue bomb site. Already a spawn peak coming out from Hertz, the 1.5x on the Frost. Thankfully, no one is there to meet him from BDS, so they won't go down too early just yet.
I'm definitely getting vibes that this version of BDS may well be able to finally do what they have struggled to do time and time again at these international events and actually make a splash. Actually make it to that final.
BDS are starting their roam clear on the other side of the map. We've got 3 players shaped up around this east side of the map. One Flores drone even is going to be dedicated to opening that wall to cut off the rotation going back into Dragon. It is going to be patched up by Keeper Barrier, however, and that's the power of KZ on Azami, but it doesn't matter because Shaiko takes him down from yet another cutoff on another window.
Forget about it, KZ. It's not happening, mate. Shaiko has bested you once again.
Oh no, cheeky ankle from Hertz. Is that his foot there that he saw? Oh no, there we go. Shaiko's just gone out of his line of sight. But the roam clear is starting to progress quite quickly for BDS. They've already got control all the way up to Terrace and up to Shrine. And it's just about converting through this choke point now. Oh no, we've gone into Noir mode.
Yeah, I mean, I really would love to do the Noir cast, but I don't know if I have it in me, man.
You don't know if you have what it takes in you?
It was a cold night and BDS were looking for an attack and W7M, they were defending the map in the kitchen. That's all I've got for you, sorry.
It's okay.
Hey, we're back. There you go. Thank goodness.
Are we back? I don't know if we're back just yet. We're not back just yet.
It's the top down. I'm getting trolled. All right.
EMP on the wall, though. That's a Selma charge, and that's going to start to clear out Geisha. It really is quite funny in Noir mode.
Now we're going in blue mode because we're on the Flores Rotero. So, wow, he's actually got a lot of information for that. I guess people sometimes forget that the Flores drones are still drones.
The Rotero drones bring back color into our life as well. LeakyFac comes along, starting to make his way through the karaoke tea room side, and instead is going to connect some shots onto the backstairs, but no kill. Julio through the floor as well. Can set an impact, trying to contest the entry, but also doesn't connect to anything. W7M still get away with their lives, and BDS not a slither of HP taken down.
This has been a slow attack, though, for BDS. If there is any weakness, it is that. But now they've got a 2-man advantage, and we have seen explosivity from this roster before. Another kill now. This looks to be a 4-2 attack half for BDS.
Really impressive stuff from BDS, but they still have Volps left to deal with if they want to go for this hatch drop execute. Not entirely sure where the diffuser is. In the hands of Bride, who's just outside the kitchen window. A big run out from JV.
Oh no!
Shut down this attack completely, but it's just Volps now on the 1-on-5.
He's got a C4, and he does get that diffuser down. Surely not. This would be a clutch for the ages. It's a 1v2. Oh, no! Renshiro has got to get that diffuser down. And Shaiko puts this case to rest. The 1v5 was not to be.
Volps, wow, what a close 1v5 that was, though, from him. Such a valiant effort there, playing on that shield. That's C4 to take down the second plan attempt, but thankfully BDS, where they're up in the man advantage, that mid-round really paid off for them in that roam clear, keeping themselves alive, running through that top floor, and like you said, explosivity is the name of this game for BDS. They do not want to play this slow. They are not playing some stereotypical EU type thing. They're not like the other girls, you know? They're going in hot and they're going in fast.
Oh my god, that metaphor went places. Anyway, Skyscraper has been such a treat, man. I am really enjoying this game, and I'm really enjoying, Mandy. We got the lion's share of matches today, didn't we? We got Liquid TSM on Border, and now we've got W7M BDS on Sky. Absolutely nutty games, and well, to me, everything is pointing to the fact that this should be a pretty cut and dried affair for BDS. They've just come away with 4 rounds of attack on Skyscraper. But there's another part of me that knows you can never count out W7M. And guess what? They banned the Warden. They've brought the Ying and Glaz. I cannot wait to see what they're cooking.
Yes, I'm so excited for this. Their lineup would indicate that they're going to go straight for this karaoke-sided execute. They're not going to look for a map sweep. They're just going to direct attack. And that is exactly what they're shaping up to do right now. 2 or 3 players on the rappel. Julia, the one with the diffuser in hand. And like you said, KZ on the Glaz is going to be the difference maker on this rappel.
Still quite a roam from BDS, remembering that the C4s could deny plant. All that karaoke floor is soft, if that is the eventual destination. But look at this from Julio. I love this drone. All of the rafters in this room, you can get your drone up to. Love this flank watch as well, making things a lot more difficult for Leakafak, and he knows about it as well. He's pinged it. He's going to try and take it down.
So he's calling out to his teammate to try and shoot it off. So I think that's Brede on the stairs just next to him saying, help, I'm stuck. Let me shoot this one off, please. And yeah, I think he actually has. He's safe to go through that doorway now. KZ is actually shaping himself to entry through this top backstairs side of the map instead. I wonder how the entries are going to work with this smoke. Okay, so another smoke canister's just gone out, but KZ's only got 1 more smoke canister for himself to make this entry work. But Julio's already got these candelas prepped for the execute.
Here we go. In it goes, and then straight onto a drone. It's a bait, mate. And Shaiko is still toying with this position in Geisha, and he is able to take down these Selmas, thus making it much more difficult for Volps to get the lines of sight he wanted. What looked to be a fast push is now ending up much more slower and baity than we anticipated as more smokes and candelas go out. BDS not lapping up the bait. In fact, Alems has held stalwart downstairs and taken a kill, but not before Volps can do so upstairs.
Bit of a tussle going down in this ground floor. They decided to pivot their push a little bit and try and go bottom up. That was JV who was taken down by Alems, who has now just collected a second one for himself.
Oh, but he's traded back eventually, the Glaz of KZ, and that means that the jig is up. They know about the Glaz. BDS also know about the Ying. Brede, though, no smokes left, caught in the corner in such a difficult position, no mobility to speak of. And the Glaz is just about to walk up his staircase. Renshi low HP. KZ has got to nail this shot. They know about him, and KZ does not let him survive. W7M are not done yet.
They're doing so well in this series for that attack. That was awesome. I love the way that they were able to play that one. Even though they took it slow when they waited for a BDS, they let them make the mistakes that they needed to catch them off on those window rappels and to catch them on that entry down below. Even though they dedicated so many bodies and redundancy to it, that is what they needed because the BDS players were starting to throw themselves back on the site and they were struggling to find safe power positions to stay in for when they went for that execute, right? And that's why W7M changed up the pace. Don't do it too quickly. Let's just see what picks we can find first, make our lives a little bit easier before we go for the execute.
I love this evolution in the meta that we've seen in the last couple of months where teams are bringing all this really execute-heavy utility, but not using it to execute, using it to bait. Like, how many times did we see candelas and smokes go out there just to kind of call this bluff with BDS? And by the end of it, it was, funnily enough, it seemed to be W7M rotating to go and clear roamers and do other things that ended up working for them.
You know what's crazy about this map, Dev? Is that both of these teams have played such great Skyscraper that it's becoming less and less about how intricate the setup is and exactly the big macro philosophy of the attack and all those crazy things. And it's about playmaking. Every single one of these rounds has been small, intricate teamwork details or individual plays that have allowed these teams to get into these rounds. And that is just how advanced these teams are taking Skyscraper.
You know, they say politics is a circle. If you go right or left far enough, you end up in the same spot. I feel like playstyles in Siege are a circle. If you go far enough towards the methodical style, you end up actually needing to play disruptive to finally break away from the opponent.
That is so, so true. W7M, hang on though. They're looking for this more direct attack onto the bomb site. We saw a big extended roam come out from BDS over on the other side of the map, but likewise, they're also playing that Retilia Claw juggle game. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out in the favor of BDS though, and that wall does get open for Julio. The next challenge is going to be opening up this office external breach and trying to get away into the bomb site.
There's still a lot of map control for BDS, namely Dragon. Very powerful position to be in. Love this extended hold as well. Liquefact's actually holding downstairs as well as JV is starting to discover. But where will this eventual push from W7M be? Will they actually go for a map control take? It looks like it's a bit of lurking behavior as Herds has made his way in on the ground floor.
So Herds is playing the buck. So if he can make his way into the position that Liquefact is in, he could really put some disruption to this defense. That being said, he's now making his way up the stairs. KZ instead is the one to be holding onto below with those grenades that he could use now to try and look for something vertical. JV as well, now EMP in hand, will start to work the main breach in tandem with Julio, and that one will get open nice and easy.
But Shaiko has managed to trade back Volps here, and oh, he's going for a run out as well. Hasn't bitten off quite enough to chew on as of yet though. 4v4. As that breach has been open, Brede still playing that bar position. KZ down below, no nades left to speak of though, so it's not going to be a vertical nade game.
Where is Herds? That's my question. He's the IGL of the team, and he's really, not the IGL, he's the secondary IGL of the team, and he's really the one that pulls things together. He both flashes himself and also Renshu, and is starting to make this pinch much more two-pronged by doing his own lurk on the other side of the map with KZ.
It's a tough crossfire, though, that he's trying to enter into. KZ's got to help support him, make this more winnable. But with that reinforcement there, he can't really have an impact on Dragon, can he? And Renshiro is still allowed to play in this tiny position. Only one flash left for Herds, and that won't be enough to burn through the ADS.
Julia is the one with the diffuser in hand and only 20 seconds left. It's going to be from the breach, and KZ and JV have to make a big impact here.
Time is ticking. W7M, what are you going to do? Renshi's going for that peak, and that costs him his life! Herds goes big. It is all down to Brede, but that diffuser is cold down on the ground. Doesn't matter, because Herds will James Bond it with the pistol. And W7M have evened up the scoreline.
Herds is incredible what he's able to do, especially on that buck, enabling him to run through that other half of the top floor and disrupt the anchors of BDS on the site. Really, I was super worried for them. Julio, he had the diffuser, but he wasn't with his team at all. He was the only one that was left externally on the building with the diffuser in hand, and I was sitting there going, oh, how are they going to get in? How are they going to get in? When are they going to get in? But thankfully, Herds was there to backstab that defense that they were going for, finding 3 picks, like you said, that last one, James Bond, full pistol style, and eventually close out the round for W7M.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, if Renshi hadn't peeked out of his tiny little cubby, would W7M have had enough time to find all of those kills? And these are the tiny, minuscule things that will keep these players up at night. I'm sure he had a very good reason for doing so, but when he watches that back, he is going to think, oh, if only. If only.
I'm going to circle back to my point about playmaking on maps like this, and I want to put it specifically to Herds himself. Now, I spoke to W7M, and Herds is the man that keeps these guys together. He's not the IGL, that's Volps. Herds is the captain, and he's the one that keeps everyone on the same page and will say, guys, we're not listening to Volps, we need to do this. We need to do this right now. And so he's the kind of player that says, trust me to go off and do my own thing, wait for my call, or do something right now because I'm about to do something big. He is the kind of character on the team that can do that, and it's so important that you have someone like that. Now he's on the Amaru. I can't wait to see what he does with this.
Did you say playmaking? Because we have Amaru backed up with a Lion. Hey, I like this though from Brede. Has he just managed to successfully trick that? Yep,
Ooh,
Julio
like it.
has already lost one. Now, the thing is here, compared to the Kaid juggle game we saw earlier, it's so much easier to juggle a Thermite with the Bandit.
Herd's making his way in through the other side of the map, very much akin to the last round as well. But what can W7M do? That trick on the wall wasn't successful. They didn't win that mini game to get open the housing wall open, and LeakyFac is still holding on to this bottom floor control. Instead, it seems like W7M are actually going to reconvene a couple more players over to where Herds is. I saw another one just enter through the backstairs side. Julio is going to re-attempt this breach onto that housing wall, which means that the main breach will stay closed.
Interesting choice here for W7M. It's going to change their options in the late round. No more hard breach on the roster to speak of. Still plenty of flashes and nades to enable some plays.
Oh, Lems as well is going to patch up this position, and what that means is it's much safer for Renshi to play in his position, right? Because he's not being cut off externally if he wants to come back behind the Dragon. He's still just going to be tucked in away behind his position. Some utility goes through. Can he connect? And in fact, he can. A nade to follow through, but the swing is good from KZ, and he can find the trade.
That's a big pick for Renshiro, though, to take down Volps on the window and remain in the numbers equality now. W7M looking to break away and take the lead for the first time since the very first round this game. But BDS do hold on to their ground.
So the difference here in this round is that the main breach is not open. So it has to be an office side housing wall take for W7M. Now, JV is being blocked out at the moment by this Aruna Gate, and Lem seems to know about it. Not only that, but there's a bit of a Funko Kiba barrier setup going on inside of Dragon that KZ has now got to deal with that. That's easily done by the Sledgehammer. It's about converting these trades, which are going to be so tricky if they don't have time to get drones into the bomb site and figure it all out.
Oh, LeakyFac goes too late downstairs, and he's already missed the chance on JV, who does manage to find his kill. Watching now down below, he knows about LeakyFac's position, leaving it all on BDS with 20 seconds to go. He is who we will place our hope on for BDS, and he finds one. Julio, the man of the hour, the most experienced player that W7M have, and he must clutch it. He has the diffuser, but does he have time to make it work? He's going to have to go through the barbed wire, but it's BDS's rookie to win out the clutch and retake the lead.
If every single round is going to be like this, I think we're going to age 20 years.
I feel like I've already aged 10 just in the last 9 rounds.
That is ridiculous. Every single round is going down to the wire. Every single one is coming down to these final, like, 2-on-3, 2-on-2, like these situations that you really can never call which one of these teams is going to win, because both of these teams have playmakers on their side. There, I felt like W7M went for the right approach. Even though they couldn't go for the main breach, they went for the trades on that Dragon side of the map, and they almost made it work. They really did. It all just came down to that one-on-one situation, and this map just does not stop delivering.
Wow, this is... I don't know how I'm going to have a voice after this game, Mandy. You know, we had 2 real blowouts yesterday. We had 2 really one-sided games. And now we're being treated with some fantastic bangers. The TSM Liquid game was phenomenal on Border. This one has absolutely delivered.
Once again, Castle is being employed. Pretty popular these days. We saw it in our last series that we were just casting as well. And what BDS is doing is segmenting off this east side of the map. He's already put 1 castle barricade on that drum door. A second one has gone down on the reception double. And it's just making these choke points even harder for W7M to get through once they get here. We often see this being done by the Azami. That's what they were doing. That's what KZ was doing on his defending half. Every time he fell back, he was Azamiing off the next point of entry. And that just really stalls out BDS. It means that the rest of the team has got to catch up to that point before they can open it up and get into the next point of the map.
If you're joining us from the B stream, buckle up, because we have been treated to a phenomenal match. BDS and W7M have been back and forth. BDS went 4-2 on their attack. Since then, W7M evened up the scoreline, and BDS have finally broken away once again.
LeakyFac is going to be the first point of contest over on the other side of the map. Now remember, the bomb site is the kitchen and barbecue bomb site. So even when W7M get through the top floor, they need to translate it to the floor below. We've already got players, some set on that ground floor. There's one on drones. I believe that's Herds, waiting for that eventual late round push to go into the ground floor.
These mood jammers and castle barricades are making it so difficult to get information for W7M. Thankfully, they do have that Jackal to try and isolate these positions. In goes JV, though, by EMPing out that Alibi Prisma. Goes for a bait, but actually decides better of it and falls back outside once again.
I really like what W7M are doing here. They're thinking a couple steps ahead, right? Not only do they have to clear out the top floor, but they also need to start putting pressure down here because otherwise they're going to run out of time. We actually see this top floor as being completely forfeited off so far. They must have seen that castle barricade setup and gone, nah, maybe let's not do this just yet. Let's see what we can work on the ground floor, see what we can find. But I'm just worried that they're going to fall short to the vertical.
Wow, what a long shot from Likafak with the 1.5. It's a big player to take down as well. No more logic bombs for Volps. Ooh, JV just spotting out that player on the mezzanine, not able to find that kill. Shaiko, meanwhile, upstairs through the verts, feeling a bit of pressure. LM's rotating back to the main stairs as Renshiro has been cleaned up. KZ taking some really good map control here on Dragon, and W7M are starting to ready their fist for the final blow.
There's only 30 seconds left, and my question is, where is the diffuser? That's Julio, and he's the one outside of the kitchen window, so it has to be that these W7M players eventually reconvene around this kitchen side of the map, because right now Julio is very isolated and taking a very scary fight onto Likafak.
Likafak keen to continue playmaking. He peeks out once again, but he is taken down. And now BDS just have the 2 defenders left. Bride caught sleeping down on the floor in Sushi, and he's the last one left. KZ's had a ripper game, 15 kills. And once again, Mandy, we reach break point. We are all tied here.
Yeah, really great from W7M. They really pulled together in that late round. The moment that I said I'm worried about Julio because he has the diffuser and no one is with him, we switched to Herds' POV. On board, there he is. Julio, I'm coming for you. Take my hand, buddy. And he went straight into the site with him. KZ as well doubled down with that vertical control that he had. He eventually made sure no one was on the hatch. Okay, guys, you're safe to go in now. They went for that plant inside of kitchen, and W7M even up the scoreline.
And on the back of it, BDS take their tactical timeout. They are not messing around. It's their last chance to ensure they get the full 3 points from this game. W7M have already taken their tac timeout in the first half, and so they won't be able to do so if BDS find match point here. W7M, of course, will have the chance to talk to the rest of their staff, having a good chat right now. A lot of work still to be done for this team to get themselves across the line, to march forward into a position where they are capable of saying that they hang with the best in the world.
They look stressed. The look on their faces, Igor leaning over and be like, okay, guys, it's time to get into it, time to get serious. This game is starting to become a game of stamina. It feels like with the way that both of these teams are playing, you can't lose focus for even a second because every single one of these players, all 10 of these players, constantly feel active in the server. We don't always say that about Rainbow. Sometimes it's more frontline, sometimes it's more backline, that kind of thing, right? But in this particular series, it just feels like all 5 players could potentially be in an engagement at any time, and you just don't know when. And so retaining that focus and that stamina is going to be a big talking point for both of these teams.
It's also a game of adaptations, back and forth this match has been, and back and forth these players will consider what is the best course of action for BDS. They consider the Echo, bringing that into the game for Bride for the first time. Maybe the first time I've seen Echo at the Majors so far, at least in the games we've casted. And on the flip side, W7M on this tier room attack have opted to bring the Ying and forego the Glaz.
Interesting. What will they do about this now? They've got to be a little bit careful rappelling up on to do this roam clear. I think that would be Volps on the other side of that, that's right. Looking to rappel up, but Alems has actually got an open rotate and could look for the runner at any second. What is the rest of W7M doing though? Are they actually going to dedicate themselves to this roam clear, or are they going to go for something more direct? So far, it looks pretty sparse.
I think the good old Classico Julio rappel on the karaoke window with Ying. But the other thing I'm considering at the moment is that exchange in office. Who was that roaming over there?
Okay, LMs. There you go. LMs and Likafak.
Likafak. He has been droned, I believe. That drone just saw him. Does take it down. He is actually going to start falling back as well as Herds begins to push in from this window.
W7M taking their time. They decided not to dedicate their entire resources into just one push. They decided to probe the map a little bit, immediately put pressure on the wall, see what they can find before they start to go for this round clear. Now, the danger in this is that they've run out of time, or they might run out of time, to get through that mid-round and to try and get those next set of walls open, because look how conservative this setup is from BDS.
Wow.
That's a lot of shields that are in a very difficult choke points to hold on to. You've got Geisha with those really annoying lines of sight to deal with too, and Drum that has the impromptu shield with the Kiba barrier. 2 Kiba barriers, in fact. It's going to be very frustrating to deal with.
Oh, but the nade from KZ nets him his 16th kill. Can't nail down the second one before Shaiko finds his head. 4v4. Both of these teams vying for match point, but Volps just sends it on through. Shaiko caught sleeping. Now an advantage for W7M.
Hertz as well, with that soft breach, can make an entry point into Drum. Meanwhile, Volps as well in his own engagement. Oh goodness, a player running around the corner of Karaoke will be taken down, and that's JV as well trying to make his in. Volps, another one to jump in. Brede, he will be taken down though. A team kill even in the kill feed, and Leaky Fact with the SMG11 has got to win it out in the 1v2.
It's messy, Mandy. It is so messy. 1v2 now for Leakafak as Julio is once again called upon. His Candela's ring true, and he manages to force this diffuser down. Herds to cover, but Leakafak, oh, he's caught out. And that's W7M claiming match point.
Oh, W7M, they're really getting us fired up here. The way that they are able to pace themselves through that mid-round was super impressive. I was very worried about them once they made that rotation to entry in so late into the building. I thought by the time they get to Drum and to Shrine, they have so much work to deal with. There was a double Keeper barrier setup that was inside of Drum. There was one shield that was inside of Shrine. And even when they got to the bomb site, there were these super annoying footholds that they would have to deal with if they wanted to get in. But KZ found the perfect timing. The tandem of the nade with the entry, followed up by Hertz, who was able to use that buck to sneak his way into Drum. It all just came together. As soon as W7M got through that mid-round, they changed up the pace completely and exploded onto the site.
And now in what could well be the final round, BDS opt to go to a bomb site we have not seen from them this entire game. We're going down to the master bedroom. We're seeing that castle make its return for Brede, and BDS cannot hold back any longer. They need to go full send. W7M have been monstrous this game. KZ has been unstoppable. I will just point out, if you're looking at the kills on the rest of the W7M members, you're going to have to take that with a grain of salt because they reconnected and had their scores reset. But for KZ, that is true. 16 and 8, 2.0 KD.
That is crazy. Man is insane. All right, so JV's just got... That's a lot of value. Oh no!
Gotta say, JV, you cannot take down the bulletproof cameras with the laser of the Twitch drones. So that was a bit of a seniors moment.
So the bomb site is this master bedroom one, and it's quite hard to dissect some of these defense strategies that come out of it. It really lies on playing these vertical angles to perfection. Now, they are very finicky vertical angles. We saw this when W7M were playing their iteration of this bomb site. They actually couldn't deny the plant. There are some blind spots into the bomb site, which is exactly what Julio is trying to take advantage of. He's already sent it in with that hard breach onto the wall, and there was a player in the site. Hertz is going to jump in and follow up, taken down, though. 4-on-4 situation. It's not over yet.
It certainly isn't, but W7M are doing everything they can to finish it off as quickly as possible. BDS not going to hold back.
Pretty scary though, from W7M to try and give away their lives like that onto the bomb site. Hertz, he tried to find the opportunity, but it couldn't work. Julio, though, he was successfully able to get that Selma charge on that first line of sight, and that's making JV's position a lot more powerful to cut down not only the site, but that entry at the bottom of the main stairs. Now they need to translate their control into this top floor, and nade to follow through will deal a little bit of damage onto Alems, but not before he can take down KZ himself. Volps is thankfully there for the trade, and suddenly Hatch control is theirs.
Man advantage for the Brazilians as they edge closer to match point. BDS, oh, they hold on. It's Renshiro, the OG of all OGs, to stand up for BDS. Julio forcing that diffuser down with JV, the IGL, to cover. Renshi now holding his position as him and Brede go to retake, but it's all on Renshiro. How did it end up like this? BDS going down to W7M in regulation. Unless Renshiro can nail this second headshot, he can't get it done! Julio back in the server, back finding dubs on the global stage. W7M take the full 3 points and first place in their group.
W7M, the boys in pink, will finally take this win after what was a very, very long and hard-fought series. Every single round, so back and forth. Look at hers. Oh, yes, absolutely. Pumping his chest. Give your teammates a hug. They absolutely deserve it. What a big series that was. And just a huge highlight player, KZ, on the scoreboard all the time, fighting his own battles up in that top floor on the other side of the map. Wherever you needed him to be, he was the big impact player in this series.
What a game for W7M. So hard fought and a phenomenal performance on Skyscraper, a map they've seen BDS play to perfection in the past, and W7M bring it out here and deliver handshakes after what was an incredibly intense match. There's so much respect between these two teams. W7M proving for now that they are the superior.
Gosh, I can't believe these guys got to play each other again, don't they? It's not over yet. That's an exciting series. I can't wait for the rematch to come up for these guys. W7M, what a great Skyscraper they were able to play out. I just think that, like I said, that game was all about playmaking, and W7M are all 5 players that can hold their ground. We even saw at the end that Julio, even though I think he was 1-6 towards the end of that scoreline, he was the one to make the impact play, close out the round, and of course, the rookie on the roster to bring it home for W7M. It's just such an incredible story.
Well, I don't know about you, but I need a break to go and catch my breath. We'll break this match down in just a moment.
I'm Nicholas Martin, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do you do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position. That is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
I hope you had a drink of water. I certainly have. We could not stop giggling during that break just then because we were treated to a phenomenal match. W7M and BDS, the battle of the pink jerseys, and, well, W7M proved that they were the superior. What a game.
That was super cool. That was like my favorite game so far, I think, at this major. Wow, every single round was so back and forth. The storylines were so exciting to follow. It felt like every single player had an impact in every single round. They all held their ground. The interactions were crazy, and it was just a banger match all over.
Yeah, oh, Skyscraper is such a map to play for these teams as well. It was filled to the brim with highlights, kicking it off with the first round, which is one of the most dominant rounds I've seen this major. A 5v1 within a single minute. W7M showed at the very start that they were not messing around.
Yeah, that was really scary from KZ. BDS really had a hold on that first round of the map, and then KZ came along and was like, well, it's not over yet. And then this round happened.
Saving Private
KZ happened. Leaky Pack was there to clean everything up, and even Brede finally getting the 180 turn through the vertical. Every single one of the interactions was just like that. Leaky Pack creeping his way up the main stairs, taking down KZ on his cameras. There was just so many little chaotic moments like that that really made this series shine.
This match was filled with insane plays. How about this one? The near 1v5 from Volps. But also, it was filled with hilarious moments like that Wamai disc that led to a nade team kill. Like, just play after play, trade after trade. So many, like, 2v2s with a minute to go. So many clutches, so many 1v1s, culminating in a 12-round match that easily could have served a best of 3.
And even in this round, right, this was a super explosive round that eventually was close to closing out the game for BDS. Of W7M, they just jumped straight into the bomb site. They caught BDS off guard. Every single round was like that. All the executes were really explosive. Even the final round of this series was Julio in a 1 versus 1 with Genshiro, and we were still like holding on to our skin, just biting our teeth, going, oh gosh, it's not over yet. It's every single one of those rounds was just so crazy, and you could not call who would win it. And
just check the stats out. We got 4 players who cracked above 10 kills. Sorry, 5 players, because I didn't realize KZ had as well, and he got 16. Unreal stuff. Really high KOST ratings from a lot of these players as well. And even the opening engagements were shared pretty well. Volps and KZ having most of it. And you can clearly see that W7M dominated that early round.
They absolutely did. I just want to point out Herds, who is the lurker for this W7M roster. If there's anyone that we can point to create an identity for this entire game, just one player that summarizes everything, it's Herds. He's the one that plays like Liquid for W7M. He's the one that gets into really odd positions in the map, gives something for BDS to worry about, and is the one that's enabling the playmaking. It's all down to him, his lurker playstyle. It's just so frustrating to deal with. On BDS, you kind of had the same thing as Shaiko that was playing some really odd cutoff positions, especially for a map like Skyscraper. It's really hard to do that, but Shaiko did that super well, and it was just sort of this battle of how do we deal with this problem? How do we deal with this problem? Because a play is about to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. That was what it was like in the series. It was
a guessing game for both of these teams trying to read their opponents. W7M, for example, every time they played that T-Room bomb site attack, they got Ying on the karaoke window. They're just chucking so much util in. There was a Glaz at one point. BDS was like calling their bluff, and then W7M were calling BDS's bluff. It was back and forth. It was like 4D chess, but, you know, with headshots.
That is so true. They both tried the bait and switch the karaoke rush, right? And both of them called each other's bluff. That is crazy. I think that is just the defining strat of that series, isn't it?
Well, BDS does no longer remain undefeated. That's only for W7M, who sit at the top of the group. Let's have a look at the standings. These two teams have been dominating the group, but only one can be first. For now, that is W7M. And once again, look at it, Mandy. 3-2-1-0. W7M on top. And all of the matches here in Group C have been won or lost in regulation.
I feel like a bit of deja vu. I feel like we almost just said that about the last series that we covered as well.
Most groups have been like 3-2-1-0 or near enough.
Yeah, pretty close. I mean, that TSM Team Liquid game as well. That was the match that separated first and second. This one, too, is going to separate the top and the first and second place, but it's not going to separate the bottom, the top and bottom of these standings just yet. It's really, once again, going to go down to that mid-pack to try and claw back that second spot for the playoffs. Now, I don't know what the percentages are like just yet for this playoffs contention, but W7M looking pretty comfortable, especially after that win against BDS. I don't imagine that they'll have too many problems against the rest of the pack in this group.
The thing is, we are only halfway through the double round robin. We've done one of the round robins, so every team has played every other team in the group now. But who knows? It's not likely, but it is possible that on the second run around, we could see completely different results. I personally cannot wait to see the rematch between these two teams, because that was quite a show. And I also think that Space Station and Fury have some more to offer as well, whether it's just stealing a point away from one of these teams, whether it's potentially taking a win. By no means are the playoff spots won or lost as of yet.
Absolutely. I don't think any of these first 3 games were mission critical unless you're one of the teams in the bottom half, right? If you're in the bottom half and you go 2-0 on the first day and then you don't, or you go 2-0 on the first day, or like 0-2 on the first day and you don't claw anything back early on in the second day, then you're completely out, right? But I don't think that's happened to anyone in this group so far, except for Fury, who I believe haven't played yet today.
I don't know, but you know who is about to play? Cyclops and Black Dragons. They'll be casted by Parker and Pengu, so stick around and enjoy the show.